welcome to another episode of Discussions with Dr. Morton. Today we'll be discussing the district's experiential learning program, and I'm so happy to be joined by Mrs. Sondra Castellani, science teacher extraordinaire from Cherry Hill High School West.
Hi, Dr. Morton.
So Ms. Castellani, during the day, is a standout science teacher, but she also has held a secondary role for us for a number of years as Internship Coordinator, as you've been named.
As I've been named, yes.
Excellent, excellent. All right. Ultimately, you thought it was important.
Yes, absolutely.
Why did you feel this was important for students to take part in this type of internship experience?
Well, as a teacher and a mother, right, I am very concerned about our kids being employable, right? So that's my job, is to make sure that these young people go out and become good citizens of our community, and I want them to have good lives, and I want them to be a part of our community. And so connecting them with their future careers is really important to me. That's, one of the reasons I became a teacher, and I could see how important it is for families to have their children be led in the right directions and given support in that area. So.
Right. So the program itself's begun with partnership with Virtua healthcare system.
Yes.
It's evolved quite a bit over the years. Can you just speak to that? How has it evolved?
It was 10 years ago, right? So
10 years
ago, 2016.
Wow.
So unfortunately, it hasn't been 10 full years of the internships because of COVID, right? So there was a little blip there, but so it was 10 years ago, and we first started with Virtua. And we had 10 students there, and it was wonderful. And the first expansion was that Wes had a career day, and Jeremy Knoll from Environmental Resolutions came to speak. He's a West grad, and he has his own engineering firm. And he came to speak, and one of our students approached him and said, "I would love to be an intern," right? And she became an intern, Juliana Bruce, and she then continued to work for them, and now she's a full-time employee of the firm. Amazing. So there's a huge success story and some history all together. And then we ended up reaching out to Penn Medicine, who's one of in our community, and Penn Medicine was happy to take on some students too. And then during COVID, like I said, things sort of shut down for a while, but then when we came back, our next door neighbors at West, Jefferson Health, they just finished their new building, and they said, "We're ready to take on some interns." So they've took on some interns, and every year we just expanded a little bit more. So each year we get a new partner, or maybe a couple new partners. This year we had Cherry Hill Police Department. So that was a really interesting, that was a great internship. Our intern did a wonderful job. They loved having her, and hopefully that'll be a good thing for the future for both of them, right? We have Dr. Bond, who is also a West grad, Dr. Julian Bond. He has his own physical therapy clinic. So he took a couple of our kids this year. So we're expanding a little bit by a little bit, and our community partners are really important to us.
So we're also expanding from moving the program from just being housed exclusively at High School West to being available to students at High School East as well.
Right.
What does the application process entail? Like, what does that involve for students who are not as familiar with this model?
Okay, so there is an application process. So it's for juniors. We start in the spring of junior year. There's a Google site that I've created that highlights the different internships that we have with partners. We also encourage kids to find their own this year. So that was sort of a new thing. And we did have 5 students from both East and West who found their own for this year. So there's another expansion for the upcoming school year. Students need to write a resume. They need to write a cover letter. They need to get letters of recommendation. We want it to be as much like a real job interview process as possible, because that's part of this, right? Them learning what it's like to get a job, them, being responsible. So the students have to do all that, and then they interview.
So you mentioned Juliana Bruce, but there are many success stories. You've personally shared emails that have been sent to you by students that have gone through the process. Can you just speak to some of the other opportunities students have received?
I had a student years ago who got into the directly into the PA program at Stockton, where it's the program where you start as a freshman in the PA program, as long as you keep your grades up. And she said that the only thing they really asked her about during the interview was the internship. And she was one of our Virtua interns. So that was a success story. I just got an email a couple of months ago from Megan Fawcett, who was at Penn, and she is now a nursing student, and she was able to get an internship in clinical rotation at Penn that was highly sought after, and they gave it to her because she had been an intern at Penn. So she had already had contacts there, and so she was able to get that.
Best case scenario.
Best case scenario, right? There are many success stories, and it's also a success if a kid does an internship and they're successful at it, but they decide that they're not going to do that job, right? Because it's a success for them and their families, because education's so expensive these days.
Absolutely.
Right? So, you know, what going into the office or into the hospital or wherever it is every day, what that looks like, all the little details you have to do, how responsible you have to be, how you respond to people, all of those things, those are important skills to learn that aren't necessarily career specific.
You've been actively attempting to recruit businesses and organizations as partners. If you had to give a quick message to a business, how would they benefit from taking on an intern? Why should they participate in this with us?
This is a way for them to get future employees, right? So they get them when they're young.
Right.
The employee, like Juliana, so she got to understand what ERI's philosophy was all about, how they work. And then you keep in contact with them through their college years, and there you have someone, you know what you're getting, right? They're walking in the door already ready to be an employee of your business, knowing what the philosophy of your business is. Keeping kids in Cherry Hill, right? Keeping our community members in Cherry Hill. And also, it's fun to work with teenagers, believe it or not.
Yes, it is. Well said by a teacher who works with teenagers each and every day.
Yeah.
What feedback have you received from kids and parents?
The culinary experience night, each kid puts together their own presentation about what they did for the year. We all come together and we were at the municipal building. Each student gets up and presents in front of partners, administrators, teachers, parents, right? So it is a lot. And they get up there and it's a way for them to show their gratitude for the experience, but it's also just a way for them to share everything that they learned throughout the year.
How can community members, local businesses, and others get involved and support this model and program? Clearly, great appeal and reason why they should be connected and involved. This is part of a know your own, grow your own opportunity as well. But how can they get involved? Who should they reach out to? Who should they contact?
So they could contact me. I'm happy to talk to anybody. To you, Dr. Morton, they could also send an email to you.
Absolutely.
And whoever reaches out to us, we'll get back to them within a week and set something up.
Fantastic.
See what we can do.
All right, and now let's take a look at some of the experiences that our students have had.
We're a full-service municipal engineering company. We specialize in civil and environmental engineering work. We provide consulting services for multiple municipalities, mostly in Camden and Burlington County. As an engineer, anything we can do to drive our industry is huge, right? So getting young people excited about engineering is one of the biggest things that helps grow our industry. So I think it's been 10 plus years now, and it was they were doing the internship for other sectors, and they asked if we'd be interested in engineering. So I said, yeah, we would. For us, it's great because we get to talk to the students and show them what we do, but more on it's not a super technical level. But that's good is because it kind of takes away the intimidation of the industry, and we can kind of just show them, what's going on and how civil engineering is involved in pretty much everything they do every day. It's very hands-on. We try to get them out in the field, and again, the time is limited here, right? Because they're only here for a couple hours a day, so it's not really. We're not going to give them a lot of tasks, but it's more about shadowing and just seeing what we do on a day-to-day basis.
I went to college for a couple semesters. It really just wasn't for me, and thankfully it wasn't an issue here, and everything that I know I've learned hands-on here. I'm in the survey department. It is basically the basis for what the engineers do. The internship program really was just a stepping stone, and I'm very thankful for that stepping stone, but being here has been insanely lucky. It's also been a lot of hard work, but getting that was lucky, and I'm very grateful for it.
Coming into the police department is a lot of confidential, a lot of things that we have to make sure are secure for all various aspects of law. We had to do a background check on Sabrina and get her cleared. And obviously doing that, she was able to then partake in certain aspects of our units, the investigative unit, down at headquarters, and work with certain things that the general public may not ever get experience. Her interest in forensic science, she did take to our investigative unit. In our investigative unit, we do have a data crime analyst, and so working working with her, she definitely enjoyed that the most.
I want to go into forensic science, and this was kind of an opportunity to get to know the kind of environment I'm going to be around. The different combinations of things like data analysis and science, it just works so perfectly with my interests.
Yeah, so I think any student that's interested in career law enforcement would benefit from coming here and being exposed to the ground up. I mean, we start them out, working the metal detectors with our special officers, all the way up through our investigative unit. We even bring them into the court and show them what a court day is with the judge. So they kind of get the full circle of what it takes to put a case together, be involved in it, all the various aspects of evidence, our patrol division, all the divisions that make up the law enforcement is something they get exposed to.
I'm very thankful. It taught me about the criminal justice system, and I learned a lot of insight that I wouldn't have learned otherwise.
Having been an educator myself now in education for like 23 years, I would have loved to have that opportunity, because you kind of pick your major in high school not really knowing what that path could look like. It's just affirmed that they know they want to major in education. So I just think that's such an extra layer that a lot of people don't have the opportunity to kind of get a taste of their profession before they dedicate 4 years of college to it.
I knew I wanted to go into either special education or occupational therapy, but still end up working in a school. So for here, I got to talk to the occupational therapist and work in the special ed class. So it was really helpful to get a better understanding of what I wanted to do.
Each day is different, right? They sometimes had different assignments. Whatever the teacher needed that day is what they would do.
The environment is so welcoming. Everybody is so nice. The kids, they're very welcoming. Even the staff, they were all welcoming to help anything you needed. It's just such a good environment to be around.
All of the teachers are always saying just how impressed they are with their maturity. You sometimes forget that they themselves are Cherry Hill students. You forget that they're just in high school because they bring such a maturity with them. It's been a really, really positive experience for Thomas Paine.